Welcome to Down the Garden Path. I'm your host, Joanne Shaw, landscape designer and plant lover. I enjoy discussing down to earth tips and advice to help you seasonally manage your garden and landscape. And I also aim to bring you interesting and relevant topics to educate you all about the landscaping and horticultural industry. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Down the Garden Path podcast. I'm doing something a little bit different, and since it's now winter and the only gardening we really can do in January is houseplants. So if it's something that you're interested in, or whether you're already an avid houseplant grower, or whether you're looking to get some more or get into it, I thought we'd start off with a little plant chat series. And so this is the first episode of Houseplant Chat with me. And I thought the first one I wanted to talk about the light. So if you are an existing houseplant owner, then you probably have a general idea of plants in certain locations and the amount of light that they require. But we have less light even outside this time of year. So there are a few things that I try to do to help my plants be successful. And when it comes to the light, and one of them is to move them around, to really switch them to different windows and to different rooms to help them, just change it up a little bit and possibly get some more light, and ones that are really high light ones. We'll talk a bit in a minute, but that is something that, and it for me, it happens naturally because I tend to remove a lot of my plants when I start to decorate for Christmas, and I put them upstairs in my bedroom or in other rooms. And then after I finished holiday decorating and removed all the stuff, I then I make a purposeful effort to put them in different places so that they get a little bit of light. And you may want to move them again in March. It depends. It depends on the amount of light that you have in your home. I don't have a ton of light. You're seeing me, if you're watching on video, you're seeing me here in my office, which is actually, the window is here to my left, and it's north facing. So it's actually a quite large window. And in the summer, I do get a good stream of west setting sun from my upper shelves above my desk. But other than that, it's pretty indirect light, and my plants seem to be doing well. ZZ plant is one of my favorites for a low light situation. Snake plant is another for a low light situation. So that's something to consider. And I know I've been moving my different plants around as I see, like on a sunny day. Yesterday was a very cloudy, snowy day, and today is a very bit more of a blue sky. It's kind of gone away now, and so I could see where light was coming. So I've kind of repositioned plants for that. The other thing, when you're doing that, though, you do have to consider drafty windows or drafts of doors and heat vents, because you don't want a ton of heat on them either. That really dries them out and really affects them. So light is one of the big things this time of year to pay attention to help your houseplant succeed. And if you're not sure, Google's your friend and your phone is your friend these days. If you're not sure what you have and what type of light condition, one, you can drop me a note and I can help you. Or two, you can just ask Google, and they will. Google Lens is a great app for that, for outdoor plants too, where you can scan your plant, take a picture, or scan it on Google Lens, and it comes with everybody's phone, and it'll tell you what it is and what type of condition it needs. So you don't have to get out the big plant encyclopedia anymore. You can use your phone for something like that. So the other thing about light is how do the plants absorb the light? Obviously, they absorb with their leaves. So this is something I'm not very good at. I might move my plants around, but I don't often dust them. And I think that's, something little that you can do that, one, certainly contributes to the health of the plant and your home. But really, I think I do know that wiping them down with a dry cloth, you don't have to have any chemicals or anything like that. You can just wipe it with a paper towel or a microfiber cloth, something gentle, and keep the leaves, give them a good, you don't have to, not, this is certainly not something you need to do every week, but it's a good thing to do this time of year when there's not as much to do. And that will help, the plants absorb the light. That helps with photosynthesis if there's less dust on your plant. Some of them are easier to dust than others. I appreciate that. This one's a little tricky because of how many little leaves they have. But when you get into something like the rubber tree plant here, as I turn away from the screen for a second, bigger, glossier leaves, and you can see they're a little dull, and they could use a bit of a wipe. And if you're finding that a dry cloth isn't working, especially with something this large of a leaf, then yes, go ahead and get a dampen the cloth and wipe it down with a little bit of water. It doesn't need, any fancy plant shine or anything like that. I've never read that that's been proven to really do too much. It's just all about getting the dust off the leaves, and so they can absorb the light better. And so that is one of my tips. And if you are someone who, let's say you've brought in plants from outside and they're really struggling because they're not getting enough light now that they're inside the house, or if you really have a spot that is low light, but yet say you need, I have that in my home where I have a dark corner in my dining room, and it really is calling for a plant. Even though there's a window there, it's right below me, so it's a north facing, tall window. Really could use a nice large plant in the corner. And that's where I have my mama rubber tree plant. This is baby rubber tree plant that I'll show you again in a moment. But it's something that's come a long way. When we talk about grow lights, I think everybody thinks of, the trays and the more industrial looking grow lights for seed starting. But I have to say that grow lights for houseplants have really come a long way. And I put that on my Christmas list this year. And so I asked for different grow lights. And this one is kind of cool in the sense, it almost reminds you of the ring lights that everybody's using for our social media and things like that. But it is a grow light. This one clips on the pot. So I have a money tree that has been really was growing well, and then it started to just really look a little sad. I had relocated it a couple times for the holiday, like I said, my holiday decorating, and so I decided to add this to the pot. So it's clipping on the pot. You do need to plug it in, but it does have so it has a timer, so you don't have to remember to put it on, to turn it on and turn it off. Most of them do come with a timer, and I believe this one was it's 3 hours, 9 hours, or 12 hours. So you can really adjust depending on how much light the plant needs. So this is what I added to my money tree plant, but I added a similar one that actually doesn't clip. It actually goes into the soil. I added to my rubber tree plant in my dining room. And so a lot of them come, this is a different one. Here it comes with an extendable stake, and then you can attach the grow light. And the one I have in my rubber tree plant that I'll post in the show notes looks like a little umbrella. And so I have that in so then the light, kind of cascades down onto the plant. And again, it's set for a timer. So it just comes on at night. I don't have to think about it. It's just lighting my plant. And this is a different one that I have. Again, looks like a ring light. So it's got that same ring. This is more heavy duty. You can see how big this metal stake is. And it also has the timer. I haven't used this one yet. You can see it's all still wrapped up from the package because I'm now shopping mode where I need to buy another plant for a different corner of my home, and this is what I'm going to use. And it's perfect. They don't they're not really super obvious, and I think it just goes a long way and peace of mind so that you can have something beautiful and green and lush in a dark corner of your house, and you don't have to worry about it because you have a grow light. And like I said, many people think of grow lights, they think of it more for seed starting and more these trays or these stands, and I have those as well. But these ones that now can go into the pot, there's a wide variety of different companies to choose from. I'm just still trying them out myself. So I don't have anything to recommend at this point, but maybe I will by the end of this series of Plant Chat. Or Houseplant Chat, I will, give you my feedback. But I think as long as they are, have a timer so that it's not one more thing you have to remember to turn on and turn off. The other thing I had looked at in the past trying was having an existing light, like maybe you have an existing office light or something like that laying around or even if it's a table lamp and you've got a lot of little plants, you can change the bulb to be a grow light bulb. So you can go to a big box store or wherever you go to get light bulbs and look for a grow light there. But then I think those ones, then the lamp doesn't necessarily have a timer, although I guess you could attach it to a timer. So I think it's not just the lighting, it's the fact that it has a timer. I like the fact that like the one that is bendable, and I love the fact that, this can be used, so it's not this plant specific, right? So I can change it to a different plant later. It can be one that's not as tall, or it can be extendable and for a much taller plant. So it's very flexible. So I just wanted to, come on here and give everybody hope and some tips on things to do in January in your garden, indoor garden with your plants. And the first thing I think is the most important is to consider the light. And if you have plants that have gotten thin, are not looking as good as they used to look or as they did when you bought them, then that's something to consider. Consider the light, how much light they're getting, making sure that they are not near a heat vent or a drafty door or window. I know some people that maybe with a dog, you're opening that door, the back door, more often than you normally do, or you're doing it all year round, but in the summer, it's not an issue because the plant in your kitchen is very happy, but now in the winter, it's looking a little sad. So that's something to consider. So maybe you might need to move it from a warmth standpoint, a drafty standpoint, to a room that maybe doesn't have as much light, and then add a grow light so that you can, keep it happy until the temperatures outside warm up. So I hope those tips help you. I hope if you have any questions, then please, I'd love the feedback about anything else you'd like to learn about your houseplants and your indoor gardening. And I just think growing and looking at something green around our homes, whether you have 5 plants, 100 plants, or just even 1 or 2 plants, depending on your space, it does add something to your space. And it's nice to see something grow. And especially if you try to grow something that blooms. That'll be a 4th show, I guess, is blooming houseplants. So anyway, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed this tip for a January day. And thank you, as always, for joining me down the garden path. Bye for now.